video is for general training students. So if you are an academic student, this video isn't for you. This is just for people doing the general training paper. So it's the top 6 mistakes that general training students make. So what are we going to look at today? We're going to look at the similarities and differences between general training and academic, so we can focus on the main parts of general training that students make mistakes in, and then we're going to focus on the top 6 mistakes that I think general students make. So these are the things that stop students getting the high marks, so the band 7, 8, or a 9. So what's the same? Listening and speaking are exactly the same for both. So academic and general training students will do the exact same listening test, and your speaking test will always be the same. Reading is slightly different. I say slightly different because the main difference is the type of text, the reading text that you will be given. For academic, it is obviously more academic style reading. For general training, it's more things to do with everyday life and work and things like that. But they are similar in that the style of questions are the same. So you will get things like multiple choice questions, true, false, not given questions, yes, no, not given questions. They're exactly the same for general training and academic, and they require the same type of skills. So I just say slightly different. Oh, and for general training, you have to get more marks than academic to get the same band. So for band 7, you have to get a few more correct answers to get that band 7. Why? Because they think that the reading texts are a little bit easier for general training. Also, task 2 writing is the same for both. So for task 2, you will have to write a kind of an academic style essay, like do you agree or disagree, advantages and disadvantages, discuss both views. And these are the same. They're marked by the examiners in the exact same way, and the questions are the same style for general training and academic. Some people think they're different, but I would disagree. Task 1 is where the biggest difference is, and this is where general training students make the biggest mistake. So we're going to focus on that. So general training students must write a letter to a friend or a colleague, co-worker, or stranger. So it's just a normal letter. You will be given a situation and you have to write a letter about that. So what are the top 6 mistakes when students are writing these letters? The first one is about tone. So a formal or informal tone. And you must use an appropriate tone throughout the letter. So the 2 key words there are appropriate. So it must be, if it's a formal letter, it must be formal. If it's informal, it must be that. And it must be throughout the letter. So you must be consistent. If you don't do that, you get lower marks. Paragraphing. Each paragraph should be clear and have a separate purpose. So lots of students just push all the paragraphs together, or they put the first paragraph and the second paragraph together, or they're not clear. It's not really clear where one paragraph ends and the other paragraph begins. So each paragraph must be on a new topic, a separate topic. Development. Each point must be developed properly. So lots of students, just for maybe 1 or 2 of the bullet points, you'll be given bullet points that you have to write about, and they'll only write, say, 15 or 20 words for one of the bullet points. That means that your main points are not developed properly. You need to write a bit more for them. Relevancy. You must only write about the points given. So this is connected to development. Some people write, say, 20, 25 words about one point, and then they start talking about things that are not related to the actual point. So they start asking the person how they are, or talking about their dog, or talking about their holiday, or something like that. You must only write about the things in the question. And of course, grammar and vocabulary, it's 50% of your mark. You must make as few mistakes as possible while also displaying a good range of language. So it's a balance between showing the examiner that you have a wide range of vocabulary, that you can use different types of grammar structures, and also making as few mistakes as possible. And complacency. This is probably the number one problem. Lots of students, especially high-level students, think, oh, I only have to write a letter. That's really easy. I don't have to prepare for it. And that's a big mistake. So it is easier than academic, in my opinion. You don't have to deal with all the graphs and the charts that they have to deal with. But that doesn't mean you don't have to prepare. So even the best students might make 2 or 3 of these mistakes, these 6 mistakes. And if you make 2 or 3 of them, you're going to get a lower mark. And it's really easy to fix these mistakes. I think this is probably the easiest part of the whole exam. It's easier than speaking, it's easier than writing task 2, it's easier than listening, because these mistakes are so easy to fix, and you can fix them in just a matter of hours. Grammar and vocabulary, of course, you're going to need a lot more than a couple of hours, but tone, paragraphing, development, relevancy, if you have a good teacher showing you what to do, then it's really easy to fix these mistakes, and it will give you a far higher chance of getting a high mark. Because even if you get a really high mark for task 2, but you make lots of mistakes in task 1, you're going to struggle